Do you know the one thing that I really, really, really hope? That Nathan Ellis's parents were able to get hold of a live stream, because you and I, we were texting each other because our dodgy streams kept going down. I was texting other people. We're all looking for dodgy streams, and we did manage to see Nathan Ellis. But what if his parents couldn't get one?
I just have this image in my head of them watching it and that last catch going up in the air and a buffering wheel just starting and it just skipping straight to the celebrations.
Let's hope it. If the Ellis family's out there, we hope you saw your son. But in the meantime, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Timed Out after an historic series win by Bangladesh over Australia. 3-0. Australia can't come back now. There are dead rubbers even. Yes. So that means it's time for Australia to win a game. That seems to be how it works. But thank you so much for joining us here at Sporting News Australia. Lockie McCurdy joining me as ever, the man who is across every sport in the universe and does it extremely well as well. That's okay. Our late nights, sleepless nights as well. Now, if you are coming on the show live and you would like to drop a question or a comment in, I'll make sure I've got the comments up. We've got, oh gosh, they're coming in already. They're coming in thick and fast. So please leave us a comment or a question. We'll get through as many of those as we possibly can. Let's just start with a couple. I'll just mention Ataram Chauhan saying, clueless Aussies. That's harsh, but fair.
But probably fair at the moment, isn't it?
And Fashion SF saying Australia having a really bad time in T20. Yeah, that's pretty true as well. We'll get through some more. Yeah, we'll get through some more comments and questions. But we do have some topics. Same rules as always. We've got 90 seconds each to rabbit on about them as much as we can. And our first topic for the day. Well, let's start with something positive for Australia. Why not?
Yes, we have to.
And also, let's face it. No matter what, to get a hat trick in any form of cricket is brilliant. To get one on your debut is even more amazing. And to be the first player to do it on debut in T20 cricket is just phenomenal. And Nathan Ellis, I mean, look at him. He was there as a travelling reserve.
Yep.
Thinking they probably wouldn't get to play. He gets called up into the squad because Riley Meredith gets injured. And then all of a sudden, he's on the starting lineup. Mitchell Stark is presenting him with his cap, gives him the advice to just, enjoy the moment because it'll go quickly. And what I really love is how grubby he is. Look at like this is a man who's done some serious work. He's done some work. He's absolutely filthy, but his smile was as big as you could possibly imagine. And on a tour when there really hasn't been a huge amount for Australia to celebrate. To see Nathan Ellis, he's had to move from New South Wales to Tasmania to pursue his career, and he's done enough to impress people. And this is something now that no one can take this away from him. It's a terrific achievement. He was belted around a bit earlier on. To see him come back and bowl to his field late in the game, good on you, Nathan Ellis.
It is just a fantastic moment, really. I mean, when we were watching it, it was one of those ones, the last three balls of the innings, it was perfectly set up for him to take those wickets. I mean, obviously he did great because that first ball to dismiss the dangerous Mamadou was a really good ball because he was seeing the ball well, so he had to get that line of length well. And while the last two of his hat-trick were very much clearly batters just going for it in the last two balls of an innings, you've still got to put them on the wicket. You've still got to take the catches. So at the end of the day, it's a hat-trick and no one will ever be able to take that away from him. So I think it is a very special moment. I think a lot has been said about sort of what he's been through. Like you said, he had to move from New South Wales. He's been a fantastic servant, especially for the Hobart Hurricanes in recent seasons in the Big Bash League here in Australia. He's been one of their leading wicket takers pretty much every season. And while I'll be the first to kind of admit I thought he'd be one of those players that was a good Big Bash player but might never make that jump up to international cricket. It's fantastic to see him get that opportunity and grab it with both hands. Obviously, his cap presented to him by Mitchell Starc at the start of this match, and he's the sort of player you could tell. I mean, as we said, that picture of him with all the dirt down the front of his shirt, it shows he's the sort of player who is not going to let anything die out on the field. He's going to chase absolutely everything. He's going to be sliding around. I think that one was from, there was a slight run out chance at the striker's end, and he did a full body, like a front body dive to try and hit the ball onto the stumps. It was quite remarkable, and it's fantastic to see such a celebration around a tour that there really hasn't been much to celebrate for the Australians. Oh.
Oh, lucky you came in there with the we've lost our duck. Oh, I don't know what.
The duck's a little bit late for that one.
The duck was timed out. Yeah, absolutely. Just a few more comments coming in. One from Naeem Siddiq saying, hello, Melinda and McCurdy. Just here to say you guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you very much, Naeem. That's very kind of you. What I really love is we're also, I think, getting some Bangladesh fans coming in on this show, Bangladesh fans in Australia as well. So that's really good. And also from Ishaq Mohsin, I hope I've said that right, Ishaq. Bangladesh also takes a hat trick. We repeat, Bangladesh also takes a hat trick. Love from Bangladesh. That is true.
It's very true. Three in a row.
And not surprising as well. And a comment from Apuv Shankar. It all seems so fair given how the Aussies have mistreated Bangladesh in the past 15 years. I am so with you, Apuv. I've been talking about this for a long time. You can go back and check videos and things that I've done in the past. It's been a real bugbear. And even now, even the fact it's not being broadcast here, I suspect a little bit of that is this idea, because they did broadcast the series in the West Indies. Why not this series here? Yeah, it is not as good a time slot for sure. But I wonder if there's a little bit of Bangladesh about that, which is not how it should be.
It's concerning. It's very concerning, yeah, that if that's kind of the mentality, sure, it's up against the Olympics, sure, it's in a bad time slot, but at the end of the day, it's got to be broadcast. Like, it's the Australian men's cricket team playing a tour against a big competing nation in what's going to be a massive T20 World Cup at the end of this year. It should be on TV.
I wish it was. Yeah. Okay, so time for our next timed out topic, which is... Oh, it's hiding.
It's Abu's comment. I think it's Australia's fielding. Australia's fielding. Do you want me to start with this? Australia's fielding.
Yes, you start with this one.
Yeah, this was my topic that I kind of put forward because I thought, again, the bowlers did about as good a job as we can expect them to in Bangladesh, really. I mean, to keep Bangladesh for 9 for 127, I mean, especially without Mitchell Starc, again, you've got to be pretty happy with that if you're Justin Langer. You're going, okay, they're doing their best to keep Bangladesh to a low total. Sure, it's not the greatest pitch in the world to bat, but at the end of the day, 127 is still a well below par score for a T20 match in those conditions. But yeah, two moments in particular for me. I thought the Alex Carey run out of a fifth Hussain. I mean, that was just a brilliant piece of reactive work to pick the ball up, gather it, and throw the stumps down in one motion. And that was a big moment because they were sort of building a partnership there with Mamadullah. I mean, he was on 19 when he got out there, and for a wicketkeeper, that was really impressive for Alex Carey. I mean, obviously, we know his fielding skills. I mean, I've been a bit concerned by a couple of times where he's been standing a little bit too far off the boundary for some catches on the boundary that he hasn't been able to take. But that was all forgotten in this moment because, yeah, it was an impressive pickup, one stump to aim at, to throw it down, and yeah, it was impressive. I guess that's the best way to put it. And obviously, Moses Enriquez followed it up not long later when he ran out Hussain. Again, nice bounce, pick up, throw the stumps down. More of that from the Aussies, please.
The duck's gone rogue, man.
The duck was up late watching too. He was trying to find the stream and he struggled and.
I mean, I tell you what, yeah, being up till 3 o'clock in the morning hurts my head. So Australia's fielding, you're right. There were a couple of really good run-out moments. So, I mean, throughout this whole tour, we've talked a lot about the batting, obviously, and the issues there. We've talked about the bowling and the various strengths of that and where there have been weaknesses. So I felt like it's been a bit of a mixed bag with with Australia's fielding throughout this. We have seen, and I'm talking about through the whole tour, we have seen sort of a number of dropped catches that have been quite frustrating. It does make me laugh that you watch Alex Carey on the boundary so with such concentration and with an eye for detail. And I can tell you this at home, that Lockie was actually texting me last night about where Alex Carey was standing on the boundary. So just in case you think that,
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Not that you're obsessed by it, but they've also had some times in this series where catches of balls have dropped frustratingly short, just out of reach as well. But it's been a real test of their fielding, and it was great to see certainly those 2 run-outs. They were both extremely skillful and probably in a way, well, really, those 2 run-outs, those 2 bits of fielding kept Australia in with half a chance. So it just shows you the importance to them. So it's a good test of that on this tour. Overall, I still think there's been, a bit of a mixed bag, and maybe that's some experience as well. I don't know, but at least there were a couple of run-outs that they can look on and take the positives.
One thing I kind of just quickly want to add is that it kind of makes the whole squad that was selected for these 2 tours even more confusing. That we've had a first choice bowling attack of, I guess, Agar, Zampa, Hazelwood, Stark picked from the majority of matches, but then you've had like 6 other bowlers, whereas we've only got about 7 or 8 batters in total, and that's the area we needed.
Weak area,
that's the weak area. So really, you think that looking back at the squad that they selected, they should have picked a squad batting heavy, all-rounder heavy, if they knew that these are kind of our main 4 bowlers. So, yeah, that's the one thing that's confusing, because obviously you've got Jason Behrendorff, who's barely played, Wes Agar's barely played, and there's and obviously Tanvi Sangha, although he's on there as like a replacement player, essentially, he's barely played.
Well, he hasn't. Tanvi Sangha's been on 3 tours, I think, now, and hasn't played. I hope that we might see Tanveer Sangha in these 2.
But you've got Swepson as well. Swepson's there as well. So does that mean Swepson doesn't it's kind of really mind-boggling to me the way they pick their squad so bowling heavy, and they haven't been rotating it in a sense that that's just, I think that's obviously with the benefit of hindsight, but yeah, that's just me.
But we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to do that. That's all I'm saying. A couple more comments that I'll pick out. Well, Krish Sohel saying this is not a good sign for Australia in T20. 5 consecutive series lost really is a big thing. Yes, you're right. It is really not very good. And I'm going to bring up one from Hrishikesh. I think Hrishikesh Panda. I hope I've said that right. I do try my best. Lachlan is a beast in Olympic coverage. Just putting that out there. You could have finished that. You could have finished that at beast, but we'll take it. And to what you were just talking about, Ataram Chauhan says, shouldn't JL take up some responsibility? He hasn't won anything significant since he took over and lost too many. It's about 50-50 now. I think just over 50% win ratio.
Yeah, it's a bit. Look, I think it's a bit harsh to say he hasn't won anything significant. Obviously, managed to retain the Ashes in England. That's a massive one that's always going to put a lot of credit in the bank. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a massive 6-7 months for JL coming up. T20 World Cup, going into an Ashes, and then going into more World Cups coming up, I guess, preparing for those. That if somehow the Ashes goes all wrong, he could be under pressure again. I mean, we saw all those reports come out at the start of this year after the India series. So who knows what will happen if more results don't kind of go Australia's way.
Absolutely. Then you look at it, and it goes back to that thing when you talk about selection. I mean, there are so many things. It's not just about the players. There's this overall thing about Australian cricket's approach to T20 internationals, selecting players off the Big Bash. It just goes to show, I think, what we're seeing on this tour, that the Big Bash really does not prepare batters for international T20 cricket in the subcontinent or in the Caribbean. It just doesn't. And so I think they're going to have to really look at that. It just doesn't. And that's, it's played in certain conditions. That's what it is there. I think players benefit probably more, not just from the IPL, but competitions like the PSL, the league in Bangladesh as well, like the BPL. So if you go to the BPL, the CPL, there are other leagues out there, and I think they might prepare players better for international cricket than the Big Bash does, I'm afraid. Let's go on to our next topic, and then we'll take a few more comments as well. And it is improvements, but still not enough. Well, we're talking about the batting. I mean, yes, when we were on the last time, we were sort of saying, deja vu all over again. It wasn't deja vu all over again. This was kind of really bizarre in that how often in T20 cricket do you see a team lose a match chasing while only 4 wickets down? If anyone out there wants to go and have a look at the stats for that, it'd be great to see them. Australia have lost matches on this tour they've lost them setting targets, they've lost them chasing, they've lost loads of wickets. Now we see a time when they're not losing wickets, but they just can't score. And we're going to talk about Bangladesh's bowling because I don't want to take away from that at all. But the fact that Australia, again, there was improvements. Ben McDermott scored some runs, 30-odd runs, so that was good. Mitch Marsh finally got half century, and he has been, I think he scored more than 40% of Australia's runs. It is so, this side that they've brought away is so heavily reliant on Mitch Marsh. So while we saw, at least there weren't loads of wickets falling, there's no point. Even at the end, I was talking to Nathan Ellis in the post-match, and he was sort of saying, that change in batting approach and wickets in hand being the key. The thing is, wickets in hand is only the key if you're able to then score more runs than the opposing side. It's no point. You don't win a match for having more wickets in hand than the other side. So it's just compounding to the problems that Australia has in batting.
Fair warning, Charlie has decided to start barking. So I did just mute my mic for a little bit there, just to hope didn't distract me. If
Charlie's celebrating a Bangladesh win.
Yes, she must be. But yeah, look, for me personally, I was impressed with Ben McDermott. I thought he and Mitch Marsh definitely looked good. There was a nice degree of patience that they put into their innings. But again, I just kind of felt there wasn't enough taking singles and rotating the strike and some of the basics that you get taught to do at a young age when you start getting bogged down at the crease. And rather than doing that and just trying to hit the gaps, they would soak up the dot balls and then try and hit a 6 or something like that. Whereas I feel like you've got to be much smarter in those conditions and really work the ball around. We saw that a fair bit in Bangladesh's batting innings, that if there wasn't a boundary there to be hit, they were happy to find the gap and take the single, take the 2. So I think that's something that Australia really, hopefully that's something else we might see a little bit more, because I think obviously, as we said, it's an improvement what happened in this game, that they were able to get through the 20 overs with only 4 wickets down, but just to be scoring at less than 6 and over in a T20 match is just, it's not going to win you anything, especially when you've got wickets in the shed. So hopefully we start to see these pieces come together of holding onto your wickets and preserving your wickets a little bit more, rotating the strike a bit more and keeping the run rate ticking over. And then some of the 6 hitting power that we saw. I mean, Ben McDermott hit 2 6s that were very nice over square leg. And it's kind of like, okay, let's see a bit more than that. Mitch Marsh with his first half century in Bangladesh after 240 scores. So again, he had 6 boundaries and 1 6. So he's looking good. It's just those around them that really need to get that. They just need to rotate the strike and not get bogged down, because that's where the issues are coming up.
And just that, I mean, you look at the contrast with Bangladesh and the way that Mahmudullah played that innings, which was absolutely, he was slow at first. It took him a while to get going, and he was really patient. He decided to play that anchor role and let the others come in around him, and then he went after bowlers sort of at the right time. And I think, you know, that's a real difference. It doesn't, even though Mitch Marsh is scoring the runs and sort of Mitch Marsh is trying to do everything. He's trying to be the anchor, but he's trying to score big, and he's trying to do everything because there's been so little support around him throughout the series. So that was brilliant. A couple more comments. Hello to our mate Phil's F. He's back.
Yes, Phil's, you're here.
Phil's is here. Lol, the gang's back. Good to see you guys. Hope all's well. Great to be here as always. Phil's, we love having you here.
I have to say, quickly, I think one of the other live streams we've been doing for Sporting News is over on our Facebook page, on YouTube, chatting to some of the Olympians, and I'm pretty sure I saw Phil's in one of those saying hello as well. So he might have been.
Phil's a creepy stalker. He's stalking you, Lockie. Oh no! Well, I'm on to you, Phil's. I'm on to you. A comment from Naeem Siddiq. Let's talk about Mitchell Marsh versus Shariful Islam. That was something incredible. All I want to say is, that was a really entertaining battle. But what I really want to say is how much I love the name Shariful Islam. It's such it rolls off the tongue. There are a load of, I really like the Bangladesh names. There's so many great names in there, from Mustafiz Rahman, Mahmudullah. They all don't know. They just kind of Mustafiz Rahman. It's just, all of them. There's so many good names that just kind of roll off the tongue. Mahmudullah, I've always loved that as well. Mahmudullah sounds like, I don't know, a song.
So what I'm hearing is you're putting your hand up to live commentate the series. We'll get the rights. We'll broadcast it on Sporting News' YouTube page, and we'll go from there.
Sure, okay. Shakib Al Hassan. I mean, that's such a great name. They've got great names. Shariful Islam, who also bowled really well, and his cutters have been incredibly useful, not just the fizz. And speaking of that, we're going to bring in our next topic, which is Bangladesh turn the screws. And I'm going to start my 90 seconds with a couple of comments from Sumit Malakar, who says Bangladeshi bowlers are bowling very well, and Fizz gave up 9 runs in 4 overs, which is a very good match, and to win the series is more than very good. It's sensational in T20 cricket. And his figures, 2 for 16 in this series, 3 for 23, none for 9. It was that 19th over where he gave up just 1 run. And credit to Mahmudullah for the way that he used his bowlers at the end too. He just really used them so well, Nasim, Shakib and the Fizz. But to be able to do that, the slower balls, and 3 matches in, Australia is still really struggling to be able to pick them. I mean, I don't know if is he back to his absolute best? I don't know, but what I would say is that the form of the Fizz right now, from what we're seeing in this series, bodes really well for Bangladesh going into the T20 World Cup. He's such a weapon to have. And I mean, not just him, just across. We know their spinners have been terrific all the way through. Shariful Islam has had his moments. I just want to say that so I can say Shariful Islam again. But for me, the Fizz has absolutely been the bowler of this series. And just to see, he just went through such a, I don't know, just a bit of a down patch, I think, for a long time. I did see a comment there too about the Fizz. Oh, I'm running out of time, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Where is it? Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm taking an extra time. Yep. Extra time for Ishaq Mohsin, who says, do you think Mustafiz Rahman will get a chance in any team in the next BBL? I would love to see him out here in that. It's interesting, of course. I mean, of course, he's bowled in Australia as well. And they are very different conditions. But, I mean, I just think he's so exciting. And he's fun. He's fun to watch. It's just amazing to see what he does with the ball. And I'd love to see him spend more time in Australia. Players like him and others, and Jim Mahmudullahs and Tamim Iqbals, they should be, Shakib Al Hassan, obviously, they should be a lot better known in Australia. And, it's a shame that they're not.
If only there was some sort of way to show these games to the Australian population. There's surely got to be a way. But anyway, I guess on my end, that 19th over as well, In a way, he's kind of doomed this guy to his fate a little bit. 4 dot balls in the 19th over. There was another question there. I think it was from Ishak as well, saying, what is your opinion about Dan Christian? And although I'm the lead member of the Dan Christian fan club, he's going to have to do a lot in the next 2 games if he's any chance of making that T20 World Cup squad, that's for sure. This was the perfect opportunity for him. He came in when Mitch Marsh got out, that Australia still required quite a few runs, but that's what he's there to do. He's there to finish the game, and he wasn't able to. But again, I think that's less because of him and more because of some of the fantastic death bowling from Bangladesh. To go for only 1 off the second last over of a T20 with wickets in the shed, like, it wasn't like he was bowling to the tail enders. He was bowling to Alex Carey and Dan Christian, 2 of the best Australian batters on the tour, essentially, and went for 1 run. It is really remarkable. And just the team effort. You could see the passion every time they took a wicket or every time they managed to stop something going through the inside field, that they just came together. They celebrated. And even though there was that dropped catch, I think it was either McDermott or Marsh got dropped at the fine leg boundary, they got around him and straight away they bounced back and took the wicket of McDermott. And it's kind of like those sorts of moments which you go, this is a team that is really close, and this is a team that really wants to kind of shock the world a bit. And there's going to be no better platform for them to do that than the T20 World Cup later this year. And I really hope that they can continue this form.
All right, we have a few comments. I'm going to bring one from Naimur Diganta, who says, still after losing 3 matches back-to-back, Australian players and media still don't appreciate Bangladesh performance, rather speaking about pitch and weather. Do you think they are not appreciating Bangladesh? Naimur, have you not been watching our show? Come on, man. We haven't talked about the pitch, except for, it might have been difficult to bat on, but so what? Both teams are batting on it. Australia haven't adapted to it. And you get different pitches around the world. I mean, that's one of the things that makes cricket beautiful. You won't hear me just sort of saying all pitches in the subcontinent are rubbish or all Australian wickets are the best in the world and they should be the only ones that anyone ever plays on. You won't hear that. We certainly appreciate it. Do you know that I don't know that the players, certainly when I've spoken to them, have complained about the pitches in Bangladesh. It's more that they just don't know how to bat on them, or to these bowlers who are using those conditions so well.
It's certainly been nothing like that England Test tour of India, where all the talk was about pitches and all the complaints were about pitches, and it was like, I'll wait till we get them back to England. But here, I think it's just a matter of being outclassed. I don't think it's really got much to do with the pitches, because like we've seen Adam Zampa and Ashton Agar, they've been bowling well on the pitches too. Like they're getting a lot of spin. They're getting like obviously spin and turn. I think Josh Hazlewood has bowled really well in this series as well. He's finding that line and length and troubling the Bangladesh batters. At the end of the day, the Australian batters just aren't holding their weight, and it's got nothing to do with the pitch or the weather. It's just, I guess, a bit of a lack of experience of playing in those conditions specifically, and that's kind of being shown.
Absolutely. And a comment by Aditya Chowdhury as well, saying Bangladesh also not playing full side, so their victory is even more commendable and Australia's loss is not justified. Look, when it comes down to it, you've got 2 teams there. This Bangladesh side is better than this Australian side. That's really all there is to it. That really is it. That's a better side. And they're both missing players. That would really, really help. Like even Bangladesh's batting would be helped by the players they're missing. And it's just a couple of one from Mohammed Zaheen, who says, do you think Australia took the series lightly? I don't know if I'd say they've taken it lightly, but I think it's just been really bad preparation for Australia. Kind of
I feel like it was always going to be a bit hard. They got on straight on like a 16, 17-hour flight from, I think, was it Bermuda or Barbados? I can't remember where the 1 days were. They were on a Qantas charter flight straight to Dhaka, and that's a long flight to only have. I think they only had about 2 or 3 days, I guess, before the series started. So it was a pretty quick turnaround in that sense. I'm sure if it was a full strength team for a full tour, that they would have liked a little bit more preparation in the conditions, but. Yeah, I think, and going back to that comment on, I guess, the full strength nature of the Australian side, I don't see a lot of the other Australian players who are back home almost playing better in these conditions, and it's not necessarily a slight on them. I think it's just because Bangladesh has been playing so well in those conditions.
Yeah, Mohammed, I think the key really is that Australia has taken T20 cricket too lightly. And I think that is, historically, I do think that they've taken it too lightly, and we're seeing the results of that. But I'm going to say the final comment of the show as we sign off to Mahfujul Haq, I think it is. Hopefully that's right, Mahfujul. Apologies if it's not. Celebration started from last night, still now in Dhaka and all over Bangladesh. So congratulations to you and to all the fans, because it means a lot, and it should. They've been definitely the better team in this series. Now they're probably going to lose again because Australia like to win dead rubbers, as I say. Who knows, though? It could be a 5-0 sweep. I did predict a Bangladesh win. Broken clock is right twice a day. But thank you. We will be back after the 4th and 5th matches as well. So please bookmark us, like us if you can, and do come back to join us. Give us a follow on the old Twitter. And until next time, enjoy your celebrations in Bangladesh, and in Australia, we'll keep trying to find that feed. See you later.